Today is going to be a little bit different. When I tuned in to what today is meant to be, an Akashic reading for all of you who listen, honestly, no matter when you listen. And when I have felt into it, it is going to be about March, but it feels like it's going to be a continuing theme throughout 2026. So whether you have listened to it in time to know about March, or you listen to this later and you can reflect back on how March felt for you, but then also just 2026 as a whole. So let's see what the records has for us. And here we go. Welcome to Embodying You, a podcast of spiritual exploration where nothing is off limits. You'll hear raw, behind-the-scenes stories from people awakening to their soul's path and how they became the healers, mystics, and intuitives they are today. You'll also experience real-time intuitive sessions and healings where struggles transform into breakthroughs that you can bring into your own life. Along the way, you just might recognize yourself in the stories shared. This is Embodying You. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Embodying You. I love how I said this week when I haven't quite gotten a consistency yet, but that's okay. It is the week and we are here. And as all of us are, we are all working on some version of ourselves. And for me, I'm working on consistency while honoring my own unique individual energy flow, while honoring the rhythms of my life, but yet finding this devotion and consistency. So for me, right now, I'm speaking of something like a podcast, but maybe you can relate to that in any area of your life. Okay, today is going to be a little bit different. When I tuned in to what today is meant to be, today, the beginning of it is meant to be an Akashic reading for all of you who listen, honestly, no matter when you listen. And when I have felt into it, it is going to be about March, but it feels like it's going to be a continuing theme throughout 2026. So whether you have listened to it in time to know about March, or you listen to this later and you can reflect back on how March felt for you, but then also just 2026 as a whole. So let's see what the records has for us. And here we go. As we gather together in knowing where our place is in the world, as we gather together in knowing how we are best meant to be and serve the whole of humanity, we realize that this can sound big, because if you are listening to this, know that it is part of your soul mission that you are going to have a part in helping humanity as a whole. Some of you may say to yourselves, this is too big. This is too big, not me. No, I'm not important enough. I'm not important enough. Know that this is something you will be undoing. A belief system about yourself, a belief about yourself that you will be undoing to great degrees in 2026. Because know that one individual can, in fact, make a large difference. So we will give an example from the being who we are speaking through. Tiffany, the host of this podcast, the channel we are speaking through right now, she had her breast implants removed years ago because they were making her sick. And her best friend had them removed before her because they were making her sick, except she was very sick. Tiffany's symptom was early menopause at age 36. And when she got them removed, immediately her lab results improved. Now, it was not enough to save the body from going into menopause, but that is neither here nor there. That's a story for another day because there are reasons for that. But here's what you do need to know. Through Tiffany sharing her story about breast implant illness, through her sharing her personal story of why she got them in the first place at age 21, and why she got them removed, and her best friend's story. Oh, and her best friend's story involves skin rashes, extreme fatigue, headaches, much difficulty detoxing the body, and more. As she shared this, others changed their minds about getting them, while still others said, that's not me, that won't be me, and got them anyway. The seed is still planted for when they start to have health issues, if they do. Not everybody does. Everybody's soul journey is different. But in this scenario that we are speaking of, there are a few that got them, that knew her story, that now that they are starting to have health issues, they remember what she told them, even as they want to deny that it's not true, that putting something foreign inside of your body will not harm oneself. Now, we realize that the example of this story, some of you might be saying, what does this have to do with me? It is the way that she, without getting on a platform, without being on Instagram or having a podcast, in her normal everyday life, she would speak to people about it. When she would go to a cookout and she had to bring her own food while she was detoxing the fungus and mold in her body from the implants, or that the implants helped attract and hold on to. When she was asked why, she shared her story. When she was at a paint class and some women started talking and the subject of breast implants came up, she was able to share her story. And several women in the group who were on the fence in the first place were like, you know what? It's not worth it. This is exactly how I was feeling. It's not worth it. Subject done. And she was only able to know the difference that she actually made with one single post she made on Instagram and the feedback she got from it. There were 2 women that reached out to her saying, oh my gosh, I had no clue why I was feeling this way. Now I do. And they both got their implants removed. Again, remember, implants for you is potentially just a metaphor. It is that she was one person just sharing as she felt led to out in the world. And she saw the ripple effects of it. And she knew that that made a difference. Did she know it then? No, she did not. But later, as she looked back, she realized, oh, that is how I shine. That is how my energy works. I love to share. I love to share. And as she learned more about herself, and as she learned more about herself and her human design, for example, she realized that exactly what she was doing, exactly how she was sharing, exactly the experience she was going through, all of it is a part of her design, is a part of how she is made to work in the world. You are much the same. You will have your own unique individual way that you are meant to make a difference in the world, but you do. Even if it's just the smile that you give someone in a grocery store, even if it is just the way that you parent your child, it does not matter, for those people then go out and also treat others accordingly. This is not to say that other people's behavior is your responsibility, but it is saying that good or bad, right or wrong, the ways you interact with others directly impacts the world. This is not to throw any guilt or shame on past things that you have done or said. It is all for growth. It is all for learning. And the other people are also receiving what you give, even if by chance it was flipping them off as you're driving in the car. They received exactly what they needed to in that minute to feel how they felt, to hopefully begin to release it, shift, and change, or say, okay, I don't want to do that. Or that really hurt my feelings. I'm going to make sure I don't do that to someone else. And in that way, you make a difference. As you yourself get to reflect on your behavior and go, oh, okay, I didn't like that. I'm going to shift that going forward. Now, some of you may be saying, this is vague, 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 vague. This could be for anybody at any time. Yes, but we needed to lay this groundwork because it is so, so, so important that you know the difference that you make in the world. It is so important that you know that it is the little things you do every day and the big things that make a difference. But it is not through pressure that you make a difference. It is through presence in your body. And so let's talk about March and let's talk about 2026. 2026 is indeed a time of letting go of fear. Letting go of fear. So much fear. There is so much fear in the world right now. How do you make a difference? Maybe you think, oh, I would make a difference if I went and stood on a picket line. And for some of you, sure, that is your soul path, but for some of you, it is not. It does not feel in alignment. But there's guilt of, I should be doing more. Remember what we have said. It is the little things you do every day that make a difference. So, in 2026, the theme really is letting go of fear, but fear can hide in many different vices. Fear can hide in numbing yourself with television. Fear can hide in numbing yourself with food or alcohol. Fear can hide in numbing yourself with too many baths, with too much meditation, and not living the real human life. Fear can hide in anger. Anger, anger, anger. What is beneath anger but fear? Maybe it's anger at what you feel might be done to you or what you feel is being done to you. Maybe it's fear of something that you think will happen or anger. We can really interchange because fear is at the base of this anger. And this is the way, anger and frustration is the main way that you will see this show up in 2026. So what will you do? Will you hold on to the fear and the anger and let it grow inside you? Yes, fear and anger can take seed. When you plant a tree, how does it grow? How does it grow? It is fed. It is fed through the soil. It is fed through the sunlight. It is fed. It is the same with fear. Remember that there really is no good or bad here on the planet. There's only judgment. Judgment of what is good and bad. So if you want to plant the fear seed in your own garden, the garden in your subconscious, the garden in your brain, the hard drive of your computer, which is the subconscious, if you want to plant the seed of fear and water that and give it sunlight so it can grow big and beautiful and harsh with thorns and daggers, you can do that. You can. After all, think of a blackberry bush. Think of any bush that has beautiful fruit and thorns and it's hard to get through. Walking through this bush is impossible without getting scratched up and hurt. But there is fruit. There is still fruit. But the fruit can be hard to get to without feeling the repercussions of the plant itself, of the thorns. How does your nervous system feel when you're floating, floating, floating around in fear and anger and frustration? Does it feel like a calm, lazy river? Or does it feel like fire, like thorns, like a cat scratching you? Does it sound like a child's tantrum to your mind? For paying attention to your nervous system this year is huge. This is also a huge theme that is coming into the collective, to the world right now, is this concentration on the nervous system and getting oneself grounded and settled. But how can you do this if you're watering the seed of fear? And so we realize that, again, to some of you, the brain is coming in, the mind and the ego are coming in and saying, well, this is still vague. This is still vague. Yes, but if we were talking to you about another year, we would be speaking about a different subject, a different focus, a different focus. Last year was not a focus on shedding fear. 2025 was not a focus on shedding fear. It was a focus on cycles. It was a focus on cycles. 2025 was, what are the cycles in my life that I like, that I don't like? What cycles can I end? And what cycles can I begin? So this year, you continue that work on beginning the cycles that you want and ending the cycles that you don't. And yet we remind you of this fear tree that has been planted, or this fear bush that has been planted. Do the work to dismantle this. To dismantle this. And to plant a different kind of seed. A different kind of seed. Maybe one without thorns. You still get to keep your boundaries. Of course, the thorns are there as a boundary, as protection. You still get to keep your boundaries, but in kindness and love. And we realize the blackberry is amazing. This is not an affront on the blackberry bush. No. This is saying there's so much goodness and fruit within you that you get to decide which tree you will water. Will you continue? Will you continue to shed and share stories of heartache and how you've been done wrong over and over and over again? Will you continue to loop? I'm going to tell this person this story. Then I'm going to tell this person the story. Then I'm going to tell this person the story. Then whenever they start talking about this, I'm going to start talking about this. How do you feel when you get done with a conversation? Notice how you feel. If you don't feel good, fear has usually entered the space. And fear is a great teacher. This is why we say there's fruit in the bush. There's fruit there. It is a great teacher. And don't forget that you have needed this fear to get to where you are now, because most of you listening are very high frequency individuals, very high frequency beings, even if you do not think that you are. You would not be here if you were not. So know that fear has been a part of your story. Fear has been a part of your life, the anger, the frustration, so that you can understand what other people are going through. So you can have this empathy, this sympathy, so that you can begin to let go of judgment for all the things that you judge in the world. But yet, as most of you know, when you judge another, you're just pointing the finger back at yourself. Where are you judging yourself? This being that we are speaking through, Tiffany, just this morning, she judged someone for being on their cell phone while they were driving. But the thing that she found funny about it, the moment that she realized that she was judging this, was that she had literally just put her phone down while she was driving. In fact, it was still in her hand. She had put it to the side. Where do we judge ourselves and others harshly, and where can we release this and invite in more happiness and more joy? More happiness and more joy. The thing is, we cannot force ourselves to feel happy, to be happy, to be seen, to feel safe. We can invite that into our lives more and more. But it is through this shedding of fear, this letting go of fear. And earlier we mentioned shedding also. Some of you may have picked up on this. When we do talk about our fear, anywhere and everywhere, we are shedding our fear onto others, much like a cat sheds. Can you tell that Tiffany has a cat? Much like a cat sheds hair or a dog sheds hair. We shed that onto others. And maybe it sticks to them, maybe it doesn't. Maybe they carry it forth and maybe they don't. But either way, we are shedding that onto others. That is what we meant earlier. But right now, what we mean is releasing the fear, the guilt, the anger, the shame, all of the things that make us feel fear. Fear is what you are letting go of this year. And watch out, world, for the following year, 2027. In March, you are going to feel more episodes of frustration and anger. This is nothing to be scared about, for you would have already felt it anyway, even if you didn't know it. But now you are aware. And so we want to give you something to do with this, because what we don't want is to tell you these things and have you sitting there with your hands empty saying, okay, what do I do? We are tuned into the records for each and every one of you who are listening. Of course, more specific guidance can be given if you seek it out. But for all of you who are listening, we are going to give you something you can do when this frustration, anger, and fear comes in, knowing that you are also your own energy worker. You are also your own energy worker. The number one thing you can do is in the moment when you feel the fear, the anger, the frustration, do your best, if you can, to walk away. This is not to walk away to avoid it. This is to walk away to get it out of your body another way. To not yell at the other person, to not start lecturing the other person, to not cower. Whatever your situation is, however you react to anger, frustration, fear. But it is to walk away so that you can get it out of your body. Feel the feelings that are coming up. So much fear and anger is trapped in each one of you because you'll feel it come up and you go, nope, 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 that's okay. I don't need to feel that. I don't want to feel that. And it is what all of you have learned. So again, there is no shame or judgment in that, but you can let it go. There's several ways to do this. The biggest one for everybody listening, and this will surprise you all, but yet sounds so simple. It is so simple, is journaling. Really journaling about that frustration, the anger. Get it all out. Dump it all out of your brain. Like you're opening up your brain and you're dumping it all out onto the page. Get it all out on the paper. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be legible. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can sit down and do this for 30 seconds. If you're feeling perfectionism come in, you can even start and say, I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm just so fucking pissed right now. Or I don't know what to say. I just really wish this person would have done this. This person really pissed me off because blank. Get it out of your body. And then the second thing to do after journaling is to ask yourself, what was this teaching me? What was this teaching me? And just let whatever comes up come. And then after that, you have to move it out of your body even more. So the energy already moves out of you and onto the paper, but you must get anything else that you are feeling in that moment out of your body. This is a process that you'll do over and over again because you've spent a whole lifetime accumulating trapped fear, trapped anger, trapped guilt, trapped shame. And so the next is to move your body. Move your body. Move your body with the intention that you are releasing the feeling and you're releasing the blame of the other person or thing or circumstance. Because the truth is, you are here on this planet for a reason. Yes, each one of you are. You have your own unique soul mission. And so what that means is everything that is brought to you, is for you. It may seem like it is the other person or animal or the home or whatever it is, whatever your issue is, your perceived issue. It may seem like it is their fault, that thing's fault. But know that when you heal enough and you release enough, eventually that problem will go away. How big of a problem has it become? That will matter for how quickly it goes away. It will also matter on if you're getting it as a bigger soul lesson. But know that you're making a big difference in your energy each time you release this fear, this anger, this guilt, this shame. This is the biggest thing that you can do in March and beyond, but the biggest thing that you can do. If you have other ways of releasing energy, of releasing trapped emotion, this is the month to not ignore that. To not ignore that. To not say, I'll get to that later. It can be simple to release these things. It can even be just as simple as saying, I am releasing from my body anything I can release right now. All you need to do is set the intention. That is all that we have for you right now. That is all that we have for you right now. We know that some of you may still have questions and feel like this isn't enough. This is your step. This is your first step, your next step. It is your something to add to your wheelhouse. It's a 3-step process. Walk away so you can feel your feelings. Journal as you feel your feelings. Release through body movement as you feel your feelings and get them out of your body. You can even imagine them coming off of you like smoke. This is enough. This is not a magic pill. This is a process. And that is something that a lot of you humans on this spiritual journey have forgotten. That just because you have been trained by a society that for the most part believes that you pop a pill and it takes care of all of your problems, you know by now that that is actually not true. It is covering up a problem that will come out in another way. And so we encourage you to not cover it up with a Band-Aid or by sweeping it under the rug. We encourage you to continue and or begin undoing undoing this process that has already began from the time that you were a baby of holding on to fear, grief, guilt, shame, anger. One last example that we will give. Think about the toddler who wants to throw a fit and is shamed for it, and who gets in trouble for throwing the fit. Or the toddler, the child who has gotten to the point where they know that that is not what is expected of them, even from a well-meaning, loving parent. We're not talking about mean parenting here, although all of you know the repercussions of that. We are talking in this scenario, even loving parents who tell their children, no, don't do that. Or let's be brave, no tears. That is how early it begins. As a baby, as a toddler. So begin to really undo fear, guilt, shame. Begin to really undo this. Okay, we do have one more example. This being Tiffany was in an airport recently and saw a woman who was at the end of her rope. She was there alone with her 2 children, one probably under a year old, one about 3. And the 3-year-old was trying to help the mom pull the luggage, but he was 3, newly 3, and had it backwards. And because of the state that she was in, rather than flip it around for him, she started berating him and grabbed the suitcase from him like he was doing something wrong. Shows you how she feels about herself. But her son at this young age is feeling this. Her daughter as a 1-year-old is seeing this. Oh, this is how we react. Oh, okay. I'm understanding. And then when the son, after feeling badly for being spoken to as he was making noises to try to express himself. It was like this. You parents know this sound of when the child is making these short whining noises and it goes all through you. And so you ask them to stop. Maybe you ask in a nice way, but still you ask them to stop. And again, there's no shame. There's no shame. Tiffany has done the same, and most humans do. But it is a matter of seeing simply that this is how young it starts, when we learn that it's not okay to make mistakes. It is not okay to express ourselves. And again, this mother, you can imagine how she might have learned how she needed to be in society from a very young age. So know that this runs deep and starts very, very young. Very, very young. So allow this to unravel. Allow this to unravel. Allow the fear, guilt, and shame to unravel. Do these practices. Do these practices throughout March. And then beyond March, in 2026, you can continue this if you want, or you can see what else comes to you. But do continue to release. On March 25th, there's going to be something big that shifts and changes, and you're all going to feel this shift. You're all going to feel this shift about 1 p.m. that day, Central Standard Time. You're all going to feel the shift. Maybe it won't be like a light switch being flipped, but you'll notice a difference. Honor yourself. Honor yourself. Honor your energy. Grow in love for yourself by feeding the happiness. Plant the happiness seed and water that. And let go of watering the fear seed, the anger seed. It will eventually wither away. That is truly all we have for you today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay. I had to go and put my feet on the ground and have a piece of chocolate to kind of bring me back down. I've never read for so many people at once before. And ooh, that was a lot of energy. That was a lot of energy. And so I had a story that I thought I was going to tell today. And it's one I've been sharing on Instagram about a next door neighbor's dog and all of the things that were going on inside of me about this dog barking. And then the miracle that ended up happening that helped me see that we are all truly living in the Truman Show. If you haven't seen that, it's a world that was made up for this one person, and the whole world revolved around him. And eventually he found out that what was happening and that it really was fake. His parents weren't his parents, and this person wasn't really who they thought they were. The ocean wasn't really real. I mean, all of these things, right? And that's kind of what we're in here. We're in a version of the Truman Show where everything in this universe is happening for us, for soul growth. It's all about soul growth. And this is something that took me many years to embody, that genuinely anything and everything that I see is happening for me. If I don't see it, then there's a reason, right? If someone else sees it, but I don't see it, just kind of like how there was one time several years ago, my boyfriend and I were sitting outside eating lunch, and we were in this outdoor area. There were at least two or three other tables of people out there. A wasp flew into the area. Nobody else saw it. And it flew all around. Nobody else saw it, but me and my boyfriend did. And that was a moment of, oh, that's what it looks like. Because you could say, well, it's a wasp. I mean, it's there for everybody in that area. And yeah, it is there for whoever sees it. But that's just it. It's what comes across your awareness. What do you notice with your eyes, with your ears, with your body, with your feelings? It's all there for you. And so with this dog, the miraculous way that I got it to stop barking really, really, really let me know that I'm in the Tiffany show, just like you are in your own show. Because I didn't work on the dog, meaning energy work. I didn't work on the dog. I didn't go over to the neighbors, although I could have if that was my soul path, but it wasn't. My soul path was to truly see that through not controlling the situation and in fact surrendering to it, that everything shifted and changed. And at the root of that was lots of fear, anger, frustration, feeling controlled, feeling pissed off, like that dog was controlling if I could or couldn't go in my backyard. That dog was controlling this, controlling that. Those fucking neighbors, they're not even, all the thoughts that go through our mind, no matter how kind we are, no matter how nice we are, when we feel like something's being done to us. So I will tell that story next week, because ever since that shift happened, I have truly embodied at an even deeper level that everything that we feel that we want to blame on someone else or something else is truly for us to heal whatever is coming up within us. This has started to directly, I can feel it on a deeper level in regards to people that I have felt like, man, for some reason, I just cannot get a handle on this relationship, or I just cannot get a handle on how I feel when I hear from this person, or when I, just whatever it is, or when I see this person. There's a deeper meaning behind it. It is all for each one of us, whatever it is that we see. I hope that makes sense. I still feel a bit out in la la land, and ooh, I'm getting hot. I just took off my little cardigan, but I hope this makes sense. Like I said, I'm still out a little bit, because that was big energy that I was channeling. If you have any questions, let me know. Feel free to shoot me an email. The email is on my website, and I will have my website down in the show notes. You can also DM me on Instagram, which also is in the show notes. It's at embodyingwholeness.love. My company is Embodying Wholeness. That's my website. It's what I work under. And so whether it's Instagram or my website, it's embodyingwholeness.love if you want to find out more. Right now, I'm in the process of redoing parts of my website to have it sound more like me, because, when you do energy work, when you do work that, I'll just say this, the fastest change you will ever experience in life, that internal change, the internal shift, is through energy work. And so I changed so quickly that I no longer resonate with what's on there, but there's just a process of me actually redoing it. So if you look at it, and it also doesn't resonate with you, know that that's okay. That's okay. If I resonate with you, but the website doesn't, that's what you look for. So I do energy healing. I do energy work, whether it is for things mentally or for, things physically, whatever is coming up for you. It's usually energetic underneath. I mean, that's what we are. We are energetic beings. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. We learned in physics class and probably other classes in grade school even. I mean, I remember learning in grade school that even the desk is empty air, like it's not actually solid, right? So anyway, everything is energy, and you would be surprised how quickly things can shift if you move into energy work. So if you resonate with me and you want to work with me further, feel free to go on my website. You can have your own personalized Akashic read for $25. It's a 5-minute Akashic read where you get to ask a question, and you would be surprised how much information you can get in 5 minutes, truly. So that is on my website. And you can also do single sessions with me if you want to really take a deep dive where you're not only getting the read, but you're also getting energy work. You are, where we can clear belief systems. I use a lot of different modalities, including light language. If you are a light language fan, light language sounds funny, but honestly, it is the fastest, most all-encompassing way that I have found to clear energy. And not only that, but you can reprogram the brain. You can reprogram the brain with it. I have a client who the other day when we worked together, she runs her own intuitive business. She has a 6-figure intuitive business. And when she came to me, afterwards, she checked in intuitively and said that I cleared 5 different belief systems. And so what does that mean, a belief system? Let's talk about that for just a second. You know how people talk about limiting beliefs and shedding limiting beliefs? Well, limiting beliefs are, they're in the subconscious, but they're I don't want to say they're surface level, because we definitely have our surface level beliefs, but then deeper, a little more unconscious, meaning we may or may not be aware of them, are the limiting beliefs. But did you know there's a deeper layer below that? And that is the seed, the seed that was planted in the soil in order for all of those limiting beliefs to gather together. And then as the subconscious is saying, oh, okay, this makes me safe. Oh, okay, to be in fear makes me safe. Okay, this is what I'm hearing. Okay, let's build that tree. So let's gather together any fear emotions. Let's gather together any I'm not enough emotions. Let's gather together beliefs of I am stupid. This is what the brain does. It is a hardwire system. So this is why in the Akashic reading, it was saying not to feed the fear belief system. Start to build and feed the happiness belief system. The others are trying their best belief system. The I am trying my best belief system. The I matter in this world belief system. Because as you do that, the other ones will start to fall away. However, if you come to someone like me or someone who does work like for instance, theta healing does this, where they also get down to the root. Although I find the way that I do it to be, I've had theta healing and I love it, but I have found the way that I do it to get to I'm not using the brain to get to the root. I'm using intuition to get to the root and the subconscious to tell me exactly what's happening. My point is that you will be surprised how quickly things will shift for you when you have the entire belief system, roots and all, just lifted out of the system. And then I always put positive beliefs back in, whether it is through light language or through using your subconscious to help find the exact belief systems that you need to have downloaded into your system. Because yes, that's a thing. That's a thing. I'm laughing just because it wasn't all that long ago that I didn't know any of this. And once I started deep diving, I'm telling you, fast change. So anyway, point is, you can do a single session if you would like. If you would like something longer, let me know. There is the mentorship page if you want to look at that at a 3 to 6 month mentorship and talk about really fast change. If you are looking to get to the next level, whether it's in your job or in your health or whatever it is, that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. Because single sessions here and there, they will move you forward. But the reason why I've moved forward so quickly, and I'll say this over and over again, is because I am consistently doing energy work on myself. And so I change really, really quickly in the ways that I want to change. And I get triggered so much less than I used to. And if I do get triggered, I don't react the same. I don't lash out. I don't yell. Occasionally I yell. Okay, occasionally I will because you know how it is, especially if you're a parent, you know how it is. However, even that phrase, you know how it is, oh, you're a parent, so you're just going to yell at your children. Very rarely do I ever yell now. And part of it is because I've cleared enough energy that would get activated and blown up within me. And so I've cleared enough of that energy that was on my heart and on my body, right? That would blow up like a balloon when it would get activated. And my mind would be on blaming it on them. They are doing this. They are doing this. They need to change this or shift this. And you can put this to a partner. You can put this to a coworker. You can put this toward your children. It really doesn't matter. It's all the same. It's simply another soul that is contracted to bring this to you. Another soul that you are soul contracted with for, the soul decided, sorry if you heard that, decided to connect with that person so they could bring up this feeling inside of you so that you could shift and change. But here's the thing, if you don't shift and change, it will just be brought to you another way or by the same person and probably a little more in your face. And so now it just doesn't happen that way with me. And luckily, again, it's not luck. Honestly, I've been working on this for years, but when things do happen with them, even when I'm in the moment of being triggered by something, my kids know, and I say this a lot, the way I'm feeling right now is not about you. So I'm sorry that I had that reaction. This situation is different for everyone, but I always tell them I'm going to work on this so that if this happens again, I won't get so triggered. But I want you to know this is not about you. Even if it's something that they did, when we get to the point where we have cleared enough old trauma, big T or little t trauma, right? Big T or little t. It doesn't have to be huge trauma, but once we have healed enough of that and cleared enough of that, we just won't have that big of a reaction to it. And then it will eventually get to where that exact same scenario won't even trigger us. Yeah, you can get to that point. So if you would, just in general, just sit with that, whether you ever choose to work with me or not. Sit with that. What is something that's triggering the shit out of you? It can be something that happens often in a relationship. And relationship doesn't have to be an intimate partner or kids. Just what's something that triggers you? It can be a cashier that's rude, where every time you have a rude cashier, it fucking ruins your day. True story of mine. Except it wouldn't ruin my whole day, but it would piss me off for a while. It does not do that anymore. I've shifted it. So that is the power of really going in and adding energy work to the mix. If you've been in talk therapy for years and you're still talking about the same things, come into energy work. Again, if you resonate with me, come in and see me. If you don't, you will find exactly who you're meant to work with. The key is to say yes. That's the key, is to say yes. But if you don't say yes that time, something else will come along. Then guess what the key is then? To say yes. To say yes. To say yes. Okay. That is it for today. Oh, wait. No. There's one other thing. All right. There is a free community that I am starting with a few other wonderful, beautiful souls. It is something that we did all of 2025, and now we're bringing it back in a different way in 2026. At the base of it, here's what I will tell you. It is a free gathering every Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So every Friday for 2025, it's 2026. Every Friday for 2026 at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, come rain, shine, come whether it's a holiday or not, we are there in some capacity. And you can just show up as yourself. You can be on camera or not. You can speak or not. But the whole purpose of being there is to know that our presence is enough. If we want, we can speak on the Zoom video. We can share what feels hard for us, or we can share what feels amazing for us. But the point is, you're in a loving room. You're in a loving room with like-hearted individuals who are all there on their own ascension journey, on their own journey of loving themselves and seeing themselves for exactly who they are. So if you hear this, again, feel free to shoot me an email, or probably actually the DM would be the best. Send me a DM on Instagram. Again, it's at embodyingwholeness.love, and we will send you the link to join. Okay. Thank you so much. I love you. Have a beautiful rest of your day, evening, week, weekend, whatever it is for you. Love you. Bye. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe and leave a review so others can find this show too. Your support helps this community grow and brings more voices into the conversation. Plus, I would love to hear your biggest takeaway. Thank you so much.